we're going to start with number 1, and we're going to evaluate each of these expressions. So for question number 1, what do I need to do first in this problem? Okay, so I add 4 plus 2, which is?
6.
Plus 6 is?
12.
Minus 5 is?
7.
Minus 4 is?
3.
All right, now, for number 2, okay, what do we do first in number 2?
Add.
Okay, so I want us to talk about it. Okay, so typically in the order of operations, right, division goes before addition. But because of the way this is set up as a fraction, okay, that makes the numerator its own piece of this. Essentially, it puts it in parentheses and the denominator in parentheses. Whenever you have like a full fraction set up, it groups the top and groups the bottom. So it kind of makes that top something you have to do first. Okay, so we have to deal with the numerator first. Do what?
Did I say that right?
We're not dealing with the denominator yet, just the numerator. So to simplify our numerator, what do I need to do? So 4 plus 2 is?
6.
Plus 13 is?
19.
Minus 3 is? 16. So then we have 16 over 4,
4.
which is 4. All right. For number 3, what do we have to do first with our order of operations? Parentheses. Now, specifically, we have to look at what part of the parentheses. What is inside of it? Yeah. Which in this case is, okay, so we're going to have 4 times, what is 2 minus 3? We have negative 1 squared minus 3. Now what part of that do I need to deal with? The exponent. What is negative 1 squared?
1.
So we have 4 times 1 minus 3. What is 4 times 1?
4.
What is 4 minus 3? Okay, so the answer to that one is 1. All right, now for number 4. Yes, ma'am.
So I didn't do it that way. I multiplied the 4 with everything in the parentheses.
Okay, you can't do it that way. Okay, because it has the exponent on it, we can't. We have to deal with what is happening with this part first before we can distribute in. Distributing has to wait till after any exponents are gone. Because 4 isn't getting squared, and if we distribute in, it's squaring that 4. It just worked out because we're dealing with 4 and 3, which are smaller numbers, and then we're squaring, and it just worked out. Yeah. But we can't do that normally. All right, for number 4, okay, what do I do first on number 4? Okay, so what is inside that parentheses going to be? So we have 2 plus 6 squared minus 3. Now what do I do? What is 6 squared?
36.
So we have 2 plus 36 minus 3. What is 2 plus 36?
38.
What is 38 minus 3?
35.
So that is our answer. That should be what we have for our bell ringers. So I want you to go ahead and get that finished up and get them turned in today, and then get your notes out from yesterday and go to the order of operations page. Yes.
I just put everything into the calculator.
It's just if I give you problems on a non-calculated part of the test, make sure you know how to do it. There it is. That sounded gross there. I just heard you say yogurt and then spinach, and I was like, I'm hesitant there, but you know.
Oh my God. Why did you put them there? Every time anybody says they're watching them.
I see her put it on.
All right. So we are going to look at the order of operations page, which is the last page of the handout I gave you yesterday. Okay. So we're going to just start by talking about what is the order of operations. The order of operations is the order in which we simplify in. Okay. It's the order in which we simplify in. All right, y'all, all of our extra conversations need to stop. Okay, so we're looking at the order in which we simplify expressions in. What is the order of operation? Like, PEMDAS. Or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I wish I had an Aunt Sally. That would just make that really good for me personally. Now, we're going to talk about what each of these things stands for and do a couple of examples, and then we're going to do our activity for today. So, what does the P in PEMDAS stand for? Okay, not only do we count that as a parentheses, but we also use that for brackets or any other type of grouping symbol. So, how that fraction groups the numerator together, that's included in that. If you have absolute value bars, that will be a grouping symbol. Anything that groups it together like that. Or even a square root can make, because you have to do the bottom part together first. Like anything that is grouping numbers together is what you deal with first. So it is parentheses and grouping symbols. Okay, what does the E stand for? Okay, and what does an exponent do? So if we have like 3 cubed, what does that mean we're doing?
3 times 3 times 3.
Okay, so after that, what do we have? Multiplication and division. Okay, it goes from left to right. Okay, it doesn't matter which order it goes in. You go left or right. And I want to take a second to talk about why. Okay, if I have, okay, calm down. Gave me an extra, I don't know. Anyways, but I want to take a second to talk about why that is. Okay, you don't have to write what I'm about to write. It's just this is where I'm doing the example. So the reason for that is if I have 5 divided by 6 times 3, if I wanted to write that as everything being in multiplication, I could say 5 times 1 over 6. That means the same exact thing, times 3. So you can rewrite any division problem as multiplication. So that's part of why you can flip-flop the order of that. It's the same thing that you can flip-flop with addition and subtraction. So I can say 5 minus 2, or I could say 5 plus negative 2. Because does that change my answer, either of those? No. They both mean the same thing. And that's why the order doesn't matter with multiplication and division, because you can rewrite them as each other. That's why the order doesn't matter with addition and subtraction, because again, we can rewrite them as each other. So they're more similar, and so that's why we can go in any order for those. All right, so with that being said, what is the next part of this? And both of these have to do what? Which way do they both go?
Left to right.
left to right. And then we're only going to do a couple of these examples on this sheet before we move on. Okay, I don't like the way that redid that. All right. Now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do number 3. So I want everybody to go to question 3. In this question, what do I need to do first? Exponents. So we're going to deal with this. What is 6 squared?
36.
So we have 36 plus 4 minus 6. Now what do I do?
Add.
So what is 36 plus 4?
40.
What is 40 minus 6? So that right there is our answer.
Wait, what? 40 minus 6 is, oh, shoot. My bad.
Yep.
I'm wrong.
It flip-flops it because you go 4. Because you go 6 plus 4 and then minus 6.
Sorry, I wrote
No.
44 for some reason.
All right. Now, for number 4, what part do we do first in number 4? The multiplication. What am I multiplying? Negative 3 times 3. Okay, so we have 5 plus 2. What is negative 3 times 3? Negative 9 minus 1. And then we just finish combining those. So what is 5 plus 3? Or 5 plus 2?
7.
What is 7 minus 9? What is negative 2 minus 1? There we go. Because remember, once we get to negative 3 or negative 2 and we take it negative 1 more, we're going further negative. All right, for number 5, what part do we do first here? Specifically, what is inside of our parentheses? So we would do subtraction, addition, and subtraction again, right? So we will get 5 plus 3 times, what is 6 minus 3? 3. What is 3 plus 5?
8.
What is 8 minus 2? Okay, now what do I do? What is 3 times 6? So what is 5 plus 18?
23.
That is our answer. All right, for number 6, what part do we do first? The first parentheses. So let's deal with what is inside of this real quick. What is 17 minus 3? Okay, then we have divided by. Then we have another parentheses. What is 5 minus 4? And then it has that last parentheses there. Now, when you have 2 parentheses next to each other, what operation is that? Multiplication. So we're really just multiplying and dividing those last 3 things, right? So I go in what order? So what is 14 divided by 1? 14. What is 14 times 4?
58.
Someone else use a calculator, confirm? 56. There we go. That is our answer. I always get people to confirm because I've wrote the wrong answer one too many times. Because I'm just blindly, I'll trust y'all and be like, y'all got this. I'm so proud. And then I go, well, that ain't right. All right. But that is the problems we're going to go over real quick. Okay. So we are going to do a activity today where we are going to make sure we understand how to use our calculators we'll be using in here efficiently and well. Okay. So I'm about to pass out a TI-84 Calculator Skills Bootcamp paper, okay? So on this paper, we have a column that has the directions to use for the TI-84s. I already have them out in our little bins. These are the ones we're going to use today, okay? And we are going to use these. I have all of the directions we could possibly need next to each section, okay? Okay. So with our sections here, I have a section on there for just order of operations to make sure we're putting it in the calculator, right? I have a section talking about negative numbers and making sure we're putting those in the calculator, right? Because that's one of the biggest problems I see in this class. And then we have fractions and decimals and simplifying fractions. We have exponents, square roots, absolute value, and finding factors. And then it also tells you your common error messages, right? And it gives you directions for all of them. And each of them have several little examples to the side. If you don't finish today, we will have a little bit of time tomorrow at the beginning of class to finish that. But get through as many as you can, okay? Now, we are going to do this. When you have a question, the first person you ask is going to be your neighbor next to you. You both have these same papers, okay? Check yourself as y'all go. Y'all should both be getting the same answers. If you don't, that means one or both of y'all are wrong, right? So if you have questions, ask, and I will be there, right? But the first person you ask is your neighbor, right? Now, you are going to be using your calculators for this, okay? It goes through the exact order of what we have. If you finish today, great, turn it in. If not, keep it, and we will have some time to work on it tomorrow. Yes. Yes. I was gonna wait till after I pass this out, and y'all were working.
Not that tall. What's in the entry expression
Okay, real fast. I did have one thing that was a little bit of a typo, so I want us to fix this real quick. So in that first section, question D, where it has the brackets, that is just supposed to be another parentheses. Yeah. And then, yeah. And if there's anywhere else that uses brackets, just use a second set of parentheses there. But that is the one thing I wanted to fix.